Good morning, everyone. Hi. Ooh, it's a hot day if it's so early in the morning and my hair is already piled up on top of my head. I had it down when I came down this morning. I was like, oh, it'll be fun to have my hair down. Yeah, I didn't even get 15 minutes into the day. So funny. So today we're going to do roasting vegetables. Now, I think this is a fun thing to do, especially early in the morning or after the heat of the day has gone off, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then you can set them to the side. Roasting your vegetables now gives them all kinds of flavor, and you can use them in all kinds of dishes. It'll really amp up the flavor of these pasta salads that you want to see that are coming up. That'll amp the flavor up of any kind of thing that you're normally using just vegetables in. You can roast them and flavor them. Flavoring them while roasting them just changes all kinds of flavors and degrees of flavors in anything you're cooking with them next time. So I'm going to, today I have decided did kebabs last night. I hope you enjoyed them. Again, remember the kebabs, you can use chicken or steak or any kind of anything on them. Shrimp, we just did the really quick ones because we didn't have much time last night. Shrimp ones would be really fun. And also the thing about the kebabs last night was when we get into our garden, remember, I used just what I had on hand. I did grocery shopping and I was able to get those peppers and those mushrooms, but everything else I had here already. But when the garden comes, I'm going to put those tiny little cherry tomatoes on there as well. And the same with roasting vegetables. I'm going to roast what I have on hand. So I'm going to roast what's left of the peppers from last night. I'm going to roast mushrooms and Brussels sprouts. I thought would be fun to roast. I'm also going to roast a sweet potato, which I've already taken the skin off, and definitely hunks of onion. So that's my plan today. So I'm going to sit down here and do a little chopping first. If you can see the board, I hope. Yep, you can. So I've already taken, and I guess it's been off a little too long because I'm starting to get little black spots here. I was taking a while to get ready and running around doing this and that, and I think I let it sit here too long. So if you let your potatoes sit too long, just quickly take the little black spots off because they need their skin to stay on or they need to be in water, and that's really the two ways you can keep these from having any problem with them. For the most part, here we are. So I'm going to chop them in just random pieces, hunks. I'm going to chop them in hunks. Now, I have to say, I have never roasted vegetables until my sister Shyla decided that she was telling me all about cooking. Last summer, we shared a lot of cooking tips. And she was talking about roasting vegetables, and I was like, roasting vegetables? What do you mean? And she said, oh, she always roasts them, and sometimes she roasts them for the dinner that night, and sometimes she roasts them ahead of time to put them in different recipes. She puts them in salads. She does all kinds of things with them, and I was like, do show me, do share. So she did. She shared her roasting vegetables ideas. And the other thing she shared, by the way, let me turn the camera back up for a minute because it is super cool. She said she roasts hers in like balsamic vinaigrette, which will show the different things you can roast them in right now. But what she shared with me is she makes homemade balsamic vinaigrette. And she says it's a 3/4 to 1/4 equivalent of balsamic vinegar itself, like this. Balsamic vinegar. And 1/4 of the oil of your choice. And salt, pepper to taste, squeeze a lemon or lime or anything that really you like to make it go in there. So it's a 3/4 to 1/4 equivalent. She takes balsamic vinegar itself and puts it, like here's the oil I'm using today, because I'm going to make my own balsamic vinaigrette today, just like she said. And I'm going to put it on these vegetables. So I thought you'd want to know about that. That was a really cool thing. Thank you, Shyla, for sharing that with us. And thank you for turning me on to roasting vegetables last year, because I didn't know anything about them. Silly me, who's cooked for how many years, and I didn't even know anything about roasting vegetables. So I'm literally just going to hunk them up here. I don't care what size they are in the effect that I'm just going to hunk them. I'm using my tray over here right now. I'm going to put them on the tray for right now because I want to know how much room I have, and I'll stop chopping when I've got it filled up. Now, a couple of things I've been educated about is, one of them is give your vegetables plenty of space, because if they're squeezed together, then they'll start to get mushy. So they need space. They say don't be afraid to do more than one cooking sheet of them. Don't be worried about, oh my God, I have all this vegetable. Do it. don't put them together. They'll become mushy and it'll change them. Now, you want them to be crunchy. You want them to be almost like they look like they might have burned a little bit. They'll have a little singe on them. Your hard root vegetables like this potato I'm cutting right now and those Brussels sprouts are going to take longer than that onion and that pepper, and it's okay that the onion and the pepper come out with a little roasty look to them because that's exactly what you want. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm not going to stare at you while I'm doing it. I'm going to keep going on my next vegetable so that you can see how I'm just kind of being very erratic about how I'm cutting them up. Because I honestly don't know what recipe I'm going to be putting them in yet. So I'm just kind of making different hunks and chunks. And I'm using this because I don't want to go over the size of this. After I've got what I feel is an appropriate amount on here, then I'm going to put them in my big bowl that's over here. I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to put them in my big bowl. And I'm going to put my coating on them after that. So in a minute we're going to make Shyla's balsamic vinaigrette together. And we're going to coat what we have when we have enough of this here. Very exciting. I'm so excited about the garden because we're going to have all these amazing vegetables. I have orange and yellow and red and green. Orange, yellow, red, green. I'm missing one. Can't remember. Orange, yellow, red, green. But orange, yellow, red, green, I don't know. I'm missing one anyways. But I have them all in the garden. The other thing we're going to be making this summer, which I discovered last summer, was salsa. We're definitely going to be making salsa out of the garden this year. Last year I was making it, there was a lady on, not on Brussels Road, on the Macy Road in Highgate, and I was buying all my different kinds of tomatoes because I just had standard tomatoes in my garden. And salsa takes different varieties of tomatoes. So this year when I was planting the garden, I actually planted different varieties of tomatoes. To be honest with you, I have never had more than, I think, 6 tomato plants at a time. And this year I have 15. So what am I thinking? Well, I really wanted to make salsa. I really wanted to share with people that might need something. And I feel like, you know, we're blessed. We have more of something. And definitely we want to share with people if we have more and they don't. So Tim and I are really excited about maybe feeding the village with the idea, you know, the concept of. Yeah, so we're excited. So salsa will be one of the things this summer for sure. And you know what I'm doing? I've decided I'm going to keep practicing this roasting of vegetables. Now I've decided that I'm not just going to cut up all my tomatoes and peppers and stuff for salsa. I'm going to make some batches with roasted peppers and onions and that sort. I'm definitely going to do it with, whoops, that one hit the floor. I'm definitely going to do it with roasted ones because I think that would even change the flavor of the salsa like crazy. So I've been turned on to salsa, and and I would love to put like pineapple or something in it because I like sweet. Timothy does not care for the sweet. So if I do put pineapple or anything sweet, peaches even, I'm going to have to put that batch off to the side for myself. See how I'm just literally randomly throwing these guys together in any kind of size? Because to be honest with you, don't know what I'm going to cook with them yet. I just know that I'm going to do them. And then I'm going to put them in a bowl and have them so that I can have, like, I know in the future this week, I know I have planned pasta salad, so I know one of the uses will be pasta salad for sure. I got some beautiful mushrooms here. I'm just going to kind of give them 2 hits because I kind of want them to be able to roast with the rest of them, but I don't want them to burn too much because these definitely don't have much to them to keep them from, oops, if you get a little dirt on them like that. Usually these were so fresh when I was at the grocery store the other day that I really don't even have to really wipe them off. They're really clean, but there's lots of times when I've had to really wipe them, and all you do is take a very mild, not dripping wet damp, but just lightly damp cloth, and you wipe that dirt off of them. Never immerse your mushrooms in water. It'll make them really, it'll change them completely and you won't like it. Just use a nice damp cloth, and wipe them lightly. There was only a couple of them with a little dirt on them here, as you can see. I just came across the ones I used the other night. You can see didn't have anything on them. So these you can see were super fresh. They were not evolving into anything bad. And Yeah, I hope that one's already cut for me. This one was already cut because it broke, so there's a couple that were already cut. So there's for the mushrooms. Now here's my onion. Take off both ends. And we're just going to make big old huge chunks out of this. I have Rachel Ray's bowl over there to put a garbage bowl that she has there. That's what I have in the sink. I keep tossing all my stuff into over there. I love her garbage bowl. It's so pretty though. Sometimes I think, oh, that can't be a garbage bowl. It's just too pretty. I hate to use it just for this kind of situation. So Tim uses it when I'm not using it for this. Of course, we always wash it, of course. And Tim uses it for popcorn. He loves to, we have a big giant bowl for popcorn, a big giant one. And then what he does is he takes that garbage bowl and he uses it to layer the popcorn because we layer the butter. So we'll put down, he has it popped into, starting pop in the big bowl, then he goes to the garbage bowl and then he layers with salt and pepper and lots of, not pepper, excuse me, salt and lots of butter. And he makes the yummiest popcorn. It's one thing that he makes that I don't bother anymore because he just makes it so good. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to make them fat, so see how I'm on the wrong side of the camera here. I can go like this. Yeah, right there. Yeah, see how I'm taking a big old swath off of here. And I'm going to do it again down through the middle because I want these to be good sized pieces. These are not going to be little pieces that you put into salads or whatever. These are going to be big honking pieces. And then I'm just going to go like this. And probably like this. Again, there's no science to this. I'm just having fun pulling stuff apart. And I'm just literally going to go like, you know, over here and pull them apart. So, well, as you can tell, I did my video yesterday on the kebabs, but it didn't download till this morning. I'm having awful internet trouble, so I guess I'm going to have to call the internet company back up. We paid for more high-speed internet back in March, and we thought, well, maybe it was just because everybody's on the internet. They're at home with the pandemic right now. Maybe it's just because they're all on the internet. That's, you know, whatever. So we'll hold up. Well, you know, a lot of people are going back to work, and not everybody's at home on the internet anymore. I know it definitely is even worse at night, especially Sunday nights, the total worst. But, yeah, so I gotta find out why, because this is crazy. I know some people have said make your videos live, like Elizabeth does when she does her clothes, when she's selling her beautiful LuLaRoe. But by the way, if you're noticing my dress today, this is one of, this is a LuLaRoe. This is a maxi. Oh, I don't know if you can see. This is one of her beautiful maxis. Yep. Yep, this is called a Danny. Maxi skirts, as you all already know because you've been watching me, you know, for the last few months, see what I dress like every day. Most of it is a little bit. The Danny came out, I don't know if it was last summer or the summer before, and it was so wonderful because of the no sleeves, because before the Anna was the dress, but it always had sleeves. And I need the full length now, so I need to be covered from the sun. So here we go. And the last onion here. So keep letting me know what you want to hear. It was so wonderful when I did the rhubarb pie, and I was, not rhubarb pie, the rhubarb crisp, which by the way is dynamite. You have to make that. I got some messages from people asking about the rhubarb plant and how do you plant it and when do you plant it and how do you harvest it and when do you know it's ready to harvest. So I went outside. I hope you caught that video too. I went outside and did a rhubarb tutorial. And it was really kind of cool, and it was really fun. And so if you guys want me to do anything like that again, don't hesitate to ask. So that's pretty much, and of course the Brussels sprouts are the other thing. One of the other things I might do, and because later on I've got 3 pieces of corn here from dinner, and I got some red potatoes, and I'm going to make corn chowder. And I might just roast those red potatoes as well first. Okay, so we know we have too much for the platter now, so we know we're going to do more than one platter on this, and that's okay. So I'm going to go in here, I'm just going to coat everything. A couple of things it says, and I'm going to do the Brussels sprouts on its own platter because obviously, clearly, I'm way over the limit here already. I got too excited. I'm going to be roasting for a little while, so I'm going to put my temperature up on 425. And make sure my pan's back down where it's supposed to be. Yep. And I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff on here till they're coated. But what we're going to do first is we're going to make our own balsamic vinaigrette, because I would like to use that. So remember our ratio. Shyla said our ratio to make your own homemade balsamic vinaigrette is 3/4 to 1/4. So that's easy math. I'm going to take a 3/4 cup and a 1/4 cup, and I'm going to make a good amount so I can put it in some sort of a container and use it as for salads as well. So here's the balsamic vinegar that I bought, and hasn't been opened yet. I'm very excited about this, but I don't know if I can even open it now. Where's the little thing? Can't remember where I got this. I want to say, yeah, it's too fancy for Walmart. I believe this is a Hannaford item. It might have been Walmart.com. Yeah, I do so much on Walmart. I do believe it was Walmart.com. This has a little pourer on it, and I want to go faster than it's got here, so I'm going to pop this off, unless it comes out fast. I didn't even check to see if it comes out. Oh, not too bad. Okay, we'll do it this way. So 3/4 cup. You can't see what I'm doing down here now because I pushed it up here. I'm so sorry. 3/4. So your ratio to make your own balsamic vinaigrette for salad dressing or dipping or anything is 3/4 to 1/4. So I'm doing the easy math today since I wanted to have some in the fridge. I'm doing 3/4 cup of balsamic vinaigrette. And there it is. And I know I got this from Hannaford's, this Bertolli. And this is the EVOO I'm using. And I'm going to top it off to make it a cup by giving it that last 1/4 cup. And then Shyla says salt and pepper to taste. I don't know much about salting and peppering this yet because I've never made mine. So I'm just going to be a little courageous and throw a little bit of this and a little bit of that in there. There we go. And I am going to, here we go. So that's my homemade balsamic vinaigrette, which is kind of exciting, isn't it? Now you know how easy that is. Now the thing about cooking your vegetables, before we get this far, because we're on to the coating of them right now, you can cook them in many things. I chose to do what Shyla likes to do, which is the balsamic vinaigrette. I wanted to do it today because I've never tried it before. I've never made my own before, so that's really why I'm trying it today. I'm kind of excited about it and see what the flavor is. But remember, you can roast them in coconut oil. You can roast them in just olive oil. You can roast them in vegetable oil. You can roast them in any kinds of your favorite oil or concoction from that oil. Like making our own balsamic vinaigrette. Any kind of dressing. You could do Italian dressing. Remember the dressings I had out last night? Italian and Caesar. And you're controlling the flavor of what you're doing with these roasted vegetables with whatever you're using to roast them in. So get in your refrigerator. What have I got? Oh, I've got this great Italian dressing. Why don't I use that? I've got fantastic Caesar dressing. Why don't you use that? Anything that you can use that has like an an oil base in it can definitely cook these vegetables. So don't think it's just the balsamic vinaigrette. I'm saying just go in your cupboard. If you don't have anything fancy like, extra virgin olive oil or anything like that, just go to your cooking oil that you have. Use your vegetable oil, sunflower oil. I even have sunflower oil. I use that too. You can cook it in sunflower oil. You can cook it in just any oil that you have in your cupboard. Just any oil. It's that simple. And so then you're controlling the flavor. So here is our concoction. It said to do a few tablespoons at a time, but I know I've got way more than you're supposed to. I'm putting the dressing that I made on top of this. I'm not pouring it just right in because it says not to pour it right in because you really don't need a lot. You don't want them sloppy and wet. You just want them all coated. And use your hands. Use your hands, and I think I need a bigger bowl because that's how brilliant I am. Remember when I had to change from pots because I was making soup and I had to go from, it was a big enough pot I thought, and it wasn't, and I had to go to another one. Here I am again. I've got a bowl where I probably should go to another bowl. Whatever. Okay, so see how you're getting some color on all of it? It's feeling, you don't want it sloppy, but you want them flavored. So I have a lot of vegetables here, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. Okay, so that looks like that's probably going to coat them because I had some underneath. I can feel it's a little slippery. I want to go down into the middle to make sure they're gotten as well. You don't want to have, when you're putting it on your pan, you don't want to have this oil or whatever base you're cooking them in to be slobbering all over the pan, you know, and making pools underneath them, because then that will make them soft and it won't make them, because they'll, you know, they're sitting in something wet while they're roasting. You only want to flavor them with what you're doing. Don't sit them in a pool of whatever you have marinated them with. When you're roasting, the big deal is that you want it to be there, and that's perfect. And we're ready to put that in the pan. So when you are roasting, just a second, let me wipe my hands here. Okay, a couple of things. When you're roasting, they want you to start looking at them in like 15 to 20 minute intervals. 15 is probably safe, 20 is probably going to be fine too. I'm going to do it at 15 because quarter hours for me, I can always, you know, I'm used to setting timers on quarter hours. So 15-minute intervals for me. Put them on your pan, stick them in there at 425, check them out. If they look like they're cooking and they look like they might be cooked, fork test. The one you need to fork test really is the one that takes the longest. In this instance, I'm going to be fork testing my sweet potatoes because I know those are the ones that take the longest. The other ones, if the sweet potatoes are done, then you know the others are done. Do not worry if your onion has a little singeing brown look to it, or your mushroom or anything like that, because that's what you want. You want the roasted effect. You want the roasted effect to be in your dish and your salad, and maybe you just want roasted vegetables for lunch on the side, you know, and this is fabulous. So do not worry. So fork test the thing that takes the longest to cook. In this instance, it's going to definitely be the potatoes. And like, you know, I do not know how long exactly these are going to take, but I'm going to be doing them. Definitely, I think I'm going to roast my red potatoes to make my corn chowder too. I don't know, that's going to be later on today, and I will be doing that video for you too. But I do have a bit of a tutorial here for you, or a good list a little bit, and I will put it up as a picture beside what we're doing today. And I found this, and it was a good cooking times. It's kind of a little thing for saying cooking times. Root vegetables being beets and potatoes and carrots, they're 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how small you cut them. Winter squash, 20 to 60 minutes again. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, there's my answer there, 15 to 25 minutes. Soft vegetables, summer zucchini, squash, bell peppers, 10 to 20. Thin vegetables. So this is going to be a good guide, and I'm going to put this, it's got tomatoes in here, 15 to 20 minutes. As you can see, I've mixed in a couple things that take longer, like the potatoes up here, where it says they're going to take 30 to 45 minutes, but my soft vegetables, which is the bell peppers, are only going to take like 20 minutes. So those bell peppers are going to have a nice little singe to them, which is what I'm looking for when I want to use them for like spaghetti sauce or just to eat them on the side. So I'm going to put this picture up beside my video today so you can actually print that if you want, and it's a very good, and it has the temperature of 425 on the top. Is it going to be exactly these times every time? No, that's the thing. So start checking them. Like if it says you are a 15 to 25 variable, start checking them at the 15. Go to the 25. The likewise with the 10 to 20. And that's as easy as it is. As you know, I'm going to be putting it on the pan like this. I'm going to be spreading it out if you want to see, so that you can see what's going on here. I'll go over here. I'm going to be putting them on the pan. I probably should just pick, you know what I might do? I might just pick out all, you know what, because they take longer. I might just pick out all the potatoes and roast them first, because I have so much. But otherwise, don't worry. If you are going to put them together, and a root vegetable with a softer vegetable, again, start looking at the short time and keeping an eye on things for the long time. Anyways, I don't know. I'll see how much goes in the pan. If I separate them up, it's not enough, and then I'm just going to throw everything on there together and see what happens. The rest of the stuff is all soft ones, so I may just keep the peppers and the mushrooms and the onions together and put the potatoes out first. Another great thing I meant to tell you, after you put your, like if you're just using olive oil or something, you can put like Mrs. Dash on it, because it already has all kinds of the herbs and spices in it. kick the heck out of garlic powder for sure. Salt and pepper. You can use thyme, rosemary, any one of your, if you want to do it individually. So if you're just using like an oil because you don't have olive oil, or you don't have balsamic vinaigrette, or you don't have any um, what do I want to say? Salad dressings. Well, I was trying to find the, but if you can't find your salad dressings or anything like that, and you're just going with the olive oil or the sunflower oil, or even you don't even have olive oil, you have just regular cooking oil, and that's fine. But remember, you still can flavor it up with like a Mrs. Dash or garlic powder or thyme or rosemary or whatever, and you put those spices in when you're doing it right here. You don't try to don't sprinkle them on top. Everything wants evenly coated. So play with it. Have fun with it. I will put the temperatures and times on the side with this video. Have a blast with roasted vegetables, because I'm telling you what, it's going to make your salads so amazing this summer. And if you cook them up ahead of time, that's less time in the kitchen the days when it's hot. So have fun. Thanks.